Oh, there goes. There goes. Okay, so
now let's we discuss about our assignment that given by Miss Khadijah. Okay.
So what we want to do?
As we know, we need to choose a topic, any historical event that we can choose to do our assignment. So anyone have suggestion?
I think I have, but it's maybe I have three. So
Okay.
maybe you guys can choose. Okay.
Number
one, we have the Crusade.
Crusade, okay. Number
Number two, we have World War.
World War.
And number three, we have Conquest of Jerusalem. So from these three, choose one.
The Crusades have many series, right?
Yes. So when you choose the Crusade, then you need to choose from one episode from it.
I think we can choose the Crusades because suddenly I remember of Sultan Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi in the Third Crusade.
But I did not understand why Third Crusade is important to us as a Muslim, as it is between Muslim and Christian.
Because the Crusade happened at that place,
Where is that?
Jerusalem.
Oh,
the Holy Land.
Do you know how the Third Crusade happened?
Okay, let me explain. It was the reaction from the defeated army of the Latin Kingdom in Jerusalem at the horns of Hattin by Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi. Then,
Wait. Let me continue. Okay. Later, Pope Gregory VIII announced the expedition led by Frederick Barbarossa, King Philip I from France, and Richard I from England, as we know as Richard the Lionheart.
Oh, for your information, from Muslim perspective, this battle was a jihad to protect the land of the Prophet. So this battle is very important to Muslim. But I'm not sure about the Christian perspective.
I think I know. From Christian perspective, it was the fall of Jerusalem because they said the land was originally theirs before it fell to the Muslims.
I think we need more information because we lack something.
Hello.
Assalamualaikum, Ana.
Waalaikumsalam, ya.
We need more information from you about the Third Crusade, which is the interpretation from both sides, Muslim and Christians.
Then, because it was battle between two sides, which is a Muslim and Christian, so there will be no wrong and right side, right?
That's why.
Yes. Both sides have a different opinion, depends on the which side they're on. And if they were in Muslim sides, they will interpret it as the conquest of Jerusalem and said that Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi was a hero and Richard was the antagonist. But if they were in Christian side, they will say that Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi was the villain and because he take their line.
Thank you so much, Wana, for the information.
Assalamualaikum.
Bye.
Bye.
The Third Crusade, the rise of Saladin. There are many things that can be said about the Third Crusade. That it was bloody, that it faced great challenges, or that it ended without a clear victory. But the truth is that this crusade was the one that gave rise to two great legends. Salah ad-Din Yusuf, better known as Saladin, the great Arab Sultan who turned the life of Christians in the Holy Land into hell, and Richard the Lionheart, the English king who defeated him. And that is why we're going to tell you about the clash between these two legends. The Siege of Cairo. After the failure of the Second Crusade, Nur ad-Din took control of Damascus, unified Syria, and sent Shirkuh, his most distinguished general, to undertake the conquest of Cairo in 1163. Faced with this threat, Shawar, the Sultan of Egypt, decided to ask for help from King Amalric I of Jerusalem, who sent an army to Egypt and attacked Shirkuh's troops in Bilbais in 1164. In an attempt to draw the Crusaders away from Egypt, Nur ad-Din took the city of Antioch, sent the scalps of the Christian defenders to Egypt for Shirkuh to display at Bilbais in front of Amalric's men. This caused both Amalric and Shirkuh to pull their troops out of Egypt. The rise of Saladin. After failing in his first attempt to conquer Egypt, Nur ad-Din decided to try again in 1167 and 1169, finally obtaining victory in his last attempt, after which Shawar was executed for his alliances with the Christians and Shirkuh was appointed Vizier of Egypt. However, Shirkuh died unexpectedly after only a few weeks in power, prompting Nur ad-Din to appoint Saladin as his replacement. Finally, Nur ad-Din died in 1174, leaving the new empire to his 11-year-old son, As-Salih, who was assassinated on Saladin's orders to seize the throne of Egypt and Syria. That same year, Amalric also died, who was succeeded by his 13-year-old son Baldwin IV as King of Jerusalem, who signed an agreement with Saladin to allow free trade between Christian and Islamic territories. Reynald of Chatillon, the Pirate Prince. When Nur ad-Din took the city of Antioch, he captured several Crusader leaders who were held prisoner for years. In 1176, Reynald of Chatillon, the Prince of Antioch, was released by Saladin. This liberation was problematic as Chatillon began to attack caravans crossing the desert, ships crossing the Red Sea, and even trying to conquer Mecca, which led Saladin to send his army to stop the Pirate Prince's forces. After the death of Baldwin IV in 1185, and of his successor Baldwin V the following year, Guy of Lusignan became King of Jerusalem and had to face the problems caused by Chatillon, who had kidnapped several Muslim merchants and had them locked in a dungeon. This kidnapping led Saladin to negotiate their immediate release with Guy de Lusignan, who ordered Chatillon to release the prisoners, which he refused to do. It was his last outrage that led Saladin to attack the Christians and take the city of Tiberias in 1187, capturing with the city the wife of Raymond, one of King Guy's allies. The end of the Pirate Prince. After the conquest of Tiberias, King Guy, on the advice of Chatillon, decided to set out on a march to the east, where Saladin's troops were encamped, and he sent his mounted archers to harass the Christian troops day and night, who suffered heavy casualties from thirst and fatigue. Saladin's masterstroke would come at dawn when he ordered his troops to set fire to the bushes that were near the Christian camp, causing his enemies to faint from the heat, which he finished off with his troops in a lightning attack. After taking King Guy and the pirate prince Reynald Chatillon as prisoners, he decided to behead the latter and grant him Guy's freedom after sending him to Damascus in 1189. By the end of the year, Saladin had conquered Acre and Jerusalem. This was followed by the cities of Arsuf, Nazareth, Sepphoris, Caesarea, Haifa, Sidon, Beirut, Byblos, Turan and Gaza. Only Tyre and Ashkelon resisted him, but they were encircled by land. The Third Crusade. The response to Saladin's conquests was to be expected. Pope Urban III called for the Third Crusade, which was attended by Richard I of England, better known as Richard the Lionheart, Philippe Augustus of France, Count Baldwin IX of Flanders, and the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick Barbarossa, although the latter died on the Salif River in Anatolia in June 1190 before fulfilling his mission. The Crusaders' plan was to take several of the main coastal fortresses before reaching Jerusalem, so as not to stray far from the supply-laden fleet, as attacks by Saladin's forces prevented a safe transfer by land. The Siege of Acre, 1189 to 1191. After the liberation of King Guy by Saladin, the ex-king of Jerusalem attempted to take command of the Christian forces in Tyre, which at that time were under the control of Conrad of Montferrat, who had supported of his cousin Philip II and the French army. After landing on June 8th, 1191, Richard I of England ordered the construction of siege weapons, with which he ended up taking the city of Acre on July 12th of that year. After the victory, Richard, Philip and Leopold V, who led the remaining troops of Barbarossa's army, began a dispute over the distribution of the spoils. Leopold believed he deserved a third in the distribution for his efforts in the battle, to which Richard responded by throwing the German standard into a city moat. There was an argument between Richard and Philip over which candidate had more rights to the throne of Acre, which ended with the agreement that Guy, Richard's candidate, would continue to reign, but that Conrad, Philip's candidate, would inherit upon his death. Annoyed with Richard, Philip and Leopold left Acre with their troops in August of that year. Richard subsequently negotiated with Saladin to ransom thousands of Muslim prisoners. After refusing to pay the agreed sum, Richard ordered the beheading of some 3,000 prisoners in front of the city of Acre, within sight of Saladin's camp. The conquest of Jaffa. After the conquest of Acre, Richard I decided to take control of the city of Jaffa, from which he planned to launch an attack on Jerusalem. To prevent this, Saladin attacked Richard's army in the city Arsuf, located about 45 kilometers north of Jaffa, on September 7th, 1191. Richard won the battle after Saladin's forces of Sudanese, Bedouins, Turks, Mamluks, Syrians and Egyptians were trapped between the Knights Hospitaller and the Templars, who attacked them from the right and left flanks respectively, thus ending the legend that Saladin was invincible. In that battle, there were 7,000 dead, including 32 emirs on the Saladin side, and about 1,000 dead on the side of the Crusaders. After his victory, Richard seized Jaffa, establishing his headquarters there. Shortly after, Richard tried to reach a peace agreement with the mediation of Saladin, Saladin's brother, which came to nothing, restarting the war. The end of the Third Crusade. Finally, on August 5th, 1192, a battle was fought between Saladin and Richard, in which the latter, despite his numerical inferiority, was victorious. After several minor skirmishes, finally, on September 2nd, a peace treaty was reached, according to which Jerusalem would remain under Muslim control, but Christians were granted the right to freely make pilgrimages to Jerusalem. Richard left the Holy Land on October 9th of that year, after having fought for 16 months. Saladin died of typhus in 1193 and was buried in a mausoleum outside the Umayyad Mosque in Damascus, having as his last possession 1 gold coin and 47 silver coins, having distributed the rest of his estate among his subjects.